Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. More than 800 suspected criminals have been arrested worldwide after being tricked into using an FBI-run encrypted messaging app. The operation, jointly conceived by Australia and the FBI, saw devices with the app secretly distributed among criminals, allowing police to monitor their chats about drug smuggling, money laundering and even murder plots. Officials called it a watershed moment. Targets included drug gangs and people with links to the mafia. Drugs, weapons, luxury vehicles and cash were also seized in the operation, which was conducted across more than a dozen countries. This included 8 tons of cocaine, 250 guns and more than $48 million in various worldwide currencies and cryptocurrencies. The US Vice President has urged would-be migrants in Guatemala not to try to enter the United States illegally.
We don't have time for glossing over.
Kamala Harris was speaking on her first overseas trip since taking office. She said the journey north was dangerous and would mainly benefit people smugglers. She has been tasked by President Joe Biden with controlling a surge in migration at the southern border.
At the same time, I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come.
Former US President Donald Trump has sharply attacked US infectious disease expert Anthony Fauci over his handling of the coronavirus pandemic and denounced an investigation into his finances.
The 2020 presidential election was by far the most corrupt election in the history of our country.
Speaking in North Carolina, Trump attacked Mr. Fauci for asking Americans to wear masks against COVID and for being skeptical of a theory that the virus escaped from a laboratory in China. The origin of the virus remains hotly contested and remains under study by US intelligence agencies. The death toll in a train crash in southern Pakistan has risen to at least 62 people. A train smashed into derailed carriages of another train on Monday in Sindh province. The toll rose to 62 after bodies were retrieved overnight from mangled coaches strewn across the tracks. An earlier estimate put the death toll at 41. Rescue operations have now been completed, that's according to the railway and the Pakistani military. The trains were carrying a total of 1,388 passengers. Eritrea has blamed the US government for the ongoing conflict in Ethiopia's Tigray region. In a letter to the United Nations Security Council, Foreign Affairs Minister Osman Saleh accused the US of stoking further conflict and destabilization. The United States has been calling for the withdrawal of Eritrean troops from Tigray after they were accused of human rights abuses. International agencies have warned of a humanitarian crisis developing in the region, with the UN chief Antonio Guterres saying Tigray was on the brink of famine. The French president has been slapped in the face by a man on an official visit. In a video circulating on social media, Emmanuel Macron is seen walking up to a barrier on a trip in the southeastern department of Drôme. A man slaps Mr. Macron in the face before being swarmed by officers. 2 men have reportedly been arrested. Switzerland could become the first European country to ban artificial pesticides in a referendum on June the 13th. Globally, only Bhutan has a complete ban on synthetic pesticides. Supporters of the ban say the artificial products cause serious health problems and reduce biodiversity. Manufacturers say their pesticides are rigorously tested and regulated. A recent poll showed 49% of voters supported the pesticide ban. And finally, scientists in Australia have classified a new species of dinosaur discovered in 2007 as the largest ever found on the continent. The Australotitan coarpensensis, or the southern titan, is among the 15 largest dinosaurs found worldwide. Experts said the titanosaur would have been up to 6.5 meters tall and 30 meters long. Paleontologists had worked over the past decade to identify the dinosaur, distinguishing it from other known species by comparing scans of its bones to those of other sauropods. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.